Hello everyone, this is Dr. S. Srinivasan from Engineering College, presently working as a professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. This video is all about Ethereum's transactions and the messages. Let us see what transactions as well as messages in Ethereum blockchain. A transaction is digitally signed data packet using private keys, and it contains instructions. When the transaction is completed, either result in a message call or contract creations. Ethereum blockchain uses two types of transactions. One is message call transaction, and another one is contract creation transactions. The message call transaction produces the message call and it is used to pass messages from one contract account to another contract account. On the other hand, the contract creation transaction creates new contract account. When the transaction is executed successfully, it creates an account with an associated code. Now we see the important elements of the transactions. The first one is nonce, a now random number which is incremented every time a transaction is sent by the sender. It is a unique identifier for a transaction. Second element is gas price, the amount of Y, the Ethereum currency required to execute the transactions. Third one is to the value that represents the address of the recipient. The fourth one is the value, the actual number of Y to be transferred to the recipient through the transactions. In case of contract account, we represents the balance that account will hold. The fifth component is the signature. It composes of three fields, namely V, R, and S. They are the center of the transactions, also be determined by those values. The signature is used in the transactions and it is based on the ECDSA scheme. Sixth field is init. It is used the transactions that are intended to create contracts. So it's a byte array of unlimited length that specifies the EVM code to be used in the account initialization process. It is executed only once when the account is created for the first time. The finally, it has the data element. It represents the input data of the message call. It is used in the message call transaction. This diagram shows the two types of transactional messages. One is contract creations message and message call transaction. And in these diagrams, we can see the important elements of those two transactions. The contract creation transactions has many parameters: sender, original transactor, available case, gas price, endowment, which is the amount of either allocated, a byte array of arbitrary length, initialization code, then current depth of the message calls. This used when the new account is created and it is created using the EVM. In case of any exception during the code execution, such as not having enough case, the state does not change in the Ethereum state machine. If the execution is successful, then the account is created, and after that, the payment of appropriate gas. The message call transaction elements are the sender, transaction originator, recipient, the account whose code is to be executed, available gas value, gas space, arbitrary length byte array, input data of the call, and the current depth of the message. The message call result in a state transition. The message calls also produce output data. The messages are passed using the message calls. Now we see what message is. A message is a data packet passed between two accounts. It contains data and the value. It can either be sent via the smart contract or from an external actor. Message generation is done using the call or delegate call outputs. If it has a few important components, they are sender, recipient, amount of Y, original data field, and the maximum amount of keys that can be consumed. Local cost to the contract functions and it runs locally on the node. The message calls might be local or global. Okay, the local calls are executed on the node itself, does not consume any case. because it uses the local resources and typically it is a read-only operations. The calls are executed locally on the machine with the help of media, and they don't change any state. These are all about the messages as well as the transactions in the Ethereum blockchain network. Thanks for watching.